Hi, algebra students. So we're going to look at how the quadratic formula can be used to solve real-life problems. And we're going to start with, we have 4 problems here that we're going to take a look at. And the one thing I want to remind you of is anytime we do application, please remember that not every single problem that you see is going to be exactly the same problem that we're looking at here. It's not going to be a cookie cutter problem, so you kind of have to think about how we're using the concepts that we've worked on to help us solve these problems. Now, with the quadratic formula, most of these problems are going to involve something called the vertical motion model, because that's what the quadratic formula models. So think about this first problem and what's going on here. So the boy is kicking a ball in the air. So I just want you to think for a minute, if this is the ground and this is the little boy standing here, okay, and he kicks the ball, here's the ball, and he kicks it, what's going to happen? That ball is going to go up in the air, and because of gravity, it has to come back down and land somewhere on the ground, okay? So that formula is going to tell us, like, this is obviously our maximum height here, and then it's going to help us figure out how many seconds it's going to take for that ball to go in the air and then land back on the ground, okay? So you always want to look at the parts of the problem. So in this case, y, typically y, or sometimes this will be an h, that is your ending height, okay? So a lot of times, sometimes that's, if you're throwing something in the air, it might be up here, but a lot of times that ending height, remember, like here, it's going to be 0, so think about that. So it says the height in inches above the ground of the ball is modeled by this equation, where x is the time in seconds. You want to pay attention to that. So how long did it take to kick this ball? Okay, so the first part of the question just says, what is the height of the ball after 3 seconds? So if all they want to know is how high is the ball after 3 seconds, remember, x is the time. So all we're going to do in the first part of this problem is just let x equal 3. Okay, so if I plug that into the given equation up there, I have negative 16 times 3 squared, don't forget that part, and then plus 80 times 3, okay? And you can either, do this mental math, 3 squared is 9, and multiply that and use order of operations, or just plug all this into your calculator, and when you do, you should get 96. So, and remember, our label, our height is being measured in inches. So the answer to our question is after 3 seconds, the ball is 96 inches off the ground. Okay, and for my friends who like to measure, now here we're measuring in inches, but if you want to measure in feet, 96 inches, remember there are 12 inches in a foot, is equal to 8 feet. So you could give it that way as well. Okay, so this particular problem says, second part of our problem says, how long is the ball in the air? Okay, and so we want to solve for this problem, and we don't know, so we're going to use the quadratic formula. Okay, and the reason I'm using the quadratic formula is because I need to solve for x. So I can use any other method I want, but we already know the quadratic formula is a fail-proof method that allows us to solve for x no matter what form the problem is in. So in this particular problem, I want to look at my values of a, b, and c, and I can see that a is negative 16, b is 80, and c is equal to 0. So remember, x is equal to negative b, so negative 80, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times your a times your c, all of that over 2 times your value of a. Okay, so you would do some work in your calculator here. If I simplify this, I have x equals negative 80, and then everything underneath that radical gives me 80 squared is 6,400, and then this, of course, all this times 0 is just 0, and then 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. So I actually just did all of that without using my calculator. So square root of 6,400 is 80. So in my calculator, I need to do x is equal to negative 80 plus, or, whoops, sorry, there's my 80, plus or minus 80 over negative 32. Now you can probably already see that one of those solutions is going to be 0. So the first one, like negative 80 plus 80 is 0. So that's going to be negative over 0 over 32, which is not possible. So that one gets thrown out. And then if we do negative 80 plus negative 80, that's negative 160 over negative 32. And if you divide that, you get exactly 5. So my answer for this problem is going to be 5 seconds. Sorry, this is not the best organization here, but we'll go ahead and move on to our next problem. Okay, so before we start problem 2, I just wanted to point out that actually problem 2 and problem 3 do go together. Problem 2 is about the volume of a cone, and I just want to remind you that a lot of times what we do in algebra is try to make that connection to geometry for you. So that's what we're doing here. And in problem 2, all they're asking you to do is to take that given formula and solve for r. So I already wrote you a note up there that says isolate r using inverse operations. So this is simply just equations work. So I'm going to start with the given formula, which is 1/3 pi r squared, and this is a formula. 1/3 pi r squared times the height is the volume formula for a cone. You might remember from this from pre-algebra last year because you did volume formulas. So I want to isolate r. So I want to think about using inverse operations. So eventually I got to get this guy right here by himself. So the first thing I'm going to do is use inverse operations, and I want to get rid of that fraction so that I don't have to deal with that anymore. So I'm going to start by multiplying by the reciprocal of 1/3 on both sides. So if I multiply 1/3 times 3, remember the product of those two is 1. So that eliminates the fraction from the right hand side. Now I have 3v is equal to pi r squared times the height. Okay, so if I want to get the r by itself and I'm multiplying by pi times the height, then using an inverse operation, I would divide both sides by pi times the height. Okay, so pi over pi cancels here, and the height over the height cancels. So now I'm left with 3v over pi times the height equals the radius squared. So at this point, you have to think about how do I unsquare a number, because I want it to be r, not r squared. So remember, to unsquare a number, you use the square root. The square root of r squared leaves me with r. And so r is equal to the square root of 3 times the volume over pi times the height. Okay, so now that I've completely isolated the radius, I'm going to take that formula and I'm going to use that in this next problem. So notice it says I want to find the radius of a cone. If my volume is 27 cubic inches, or 27 pi cubic inches, and a height of 4 inches. So I'm just going to substitute those values in place of those pieces in the formula. So it says my volume is 27 pi. So I put 27 pi in place of the volume. And then it says my height is 4 inches. So I have 4 times pi, or pi times 4, however you want to do that. And using that calculation, I should get the radius. So I'm going to start by simplifying underneath the radical here, because if you notice I have pi over pi here, which cancels. So I just easily eliminated that rather than have to multiply it all the way through. And then I'm just going to simplify that multiplication. So 3 times 27 is 81. So now it's a simple calculation. I have 81/4, and if you divide that, that gives you 20.25. So I want the square root of 20.25. And again, I'm just using my graphing calculator to figure all of this out. So plug that in your calculator and round to the nearest tenth, and you get r is equal to 4.5 inches. Okay, so in your assignment, you're going to see some formulas that have to do with area instead of volume. So think about how to utilize that formula. Okay, so we're back to this last problem that's talking about a diver jumping off a diving board. And again, it's kind of like our vertical motion model. So when I look at this problem, I want to figure out how long the diver is out of the water after leaving the diving board. So again, how long means I'm solving for x. So you want to think about all those different methods we used, and when I look at this problem, and you can try it if you want, but I can tell you that this one is not factorable. If it was factorable, you could use factoring to solve it. And I can't solve it using square roots, so I'm going to go ahead and go with my trusty quadratic formula. So in this particular problem, again, identifying my values of a, b, and c is also 9. I'm going to plug that into my quadratic formula. So x equals -9 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times my a times my c, all of that over 2 times my a. Okay, so just going through and simplifying, like I can do a little bit of this in my head. 9 squared is 81. And then I know here I've got a negative times a negative, which is a positive. 4 times 16 times 9 is going to give me 576. So if you add those together, we're going to simplify this. I'm going to go back to my red here. So -9 plus or minus the square root. Then we have 81 plus 576, which is 657. And then 2 times -16 is -32. So plugging that into my graphing calculator, I get two solutions. One is -0.52, and one is x equals 1.08. And those are, of course, rounded to the nearest hundredth. So remember, we're talking about time here. How long was the diver out of the ocean? How long did it take him to be out of the water after leaving the diving board? So just remember that this particular answer is not possible, so the only logical solution is this one here. So you would say the diver was out of the water for 1.08 seconds. All right, you are going to have an assignment and you're going to try this yourself. So again, we know that you can do this. Just take your time, think through these problems, and just remember you can always go back to your quadratic formula if none of your other methods work for you to find the value of x. So have a great day.